Arash, have you ever gone to the Cavendish Beach Music Festival? Because you're from Truro, Nova Scotia. I'm sure that I don't even know if you can drive there. Probably a quick little puddle jump.
I have been to Cavendish Beach. I have not been to the music festival, though. And you can access PEI two ways. You can take the bridge from New Brunswick or take the ferry from Pictou Island. So it just depends on how you want to get there, you know?
That bridge, Mrs. S, when we were there for the conference, we were on our way to the airport, and I did a lot of driving because I golfed. She was at the conference. Mm-hmm. I would load up in the old Altima or whatever we rented, and I would travel the island golfing. And then she throws out the little day. We had a great time. The bars, Charlottetown's such a fun little city. But just when we're boarding or getting ready to go on the airplane, she said, too bad we didn't go and check out that bridge and do some sightseeing. And I'm like, was that a dig on the golfing? Was that a dig because of all the golfing?
Well, I think it was.
PEI is known as a bit of a sleepy place, but in the summer, tourism kind of takes over. You know what you get, actually, guys? You get Asians galore coming over because they're obsessed with Anne of Green Gables. There are so many people there for Anne. But now, especially this summer, with the Elbows Up tour going and a lot of people avoiding the U.S., I bet the Maritimes get inundated with tourists across the board this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you're right.
Gosh, a guy could profit.
Actually, you're already right, because I read an article in the Globe and Mail about that a few weeks ago, that they're being inundated with tourists in the Maritimes.
And if you're a hockey fan of a generation ago, it's crazy to think about this, a generation ago, on any particular day, on any particular PEI golf course, you'll likely run into Dion Phaneuf. Dion and his family, they vacation there every summer. Dion's extended family has property in New London, PEI. So back in the day, I went and did a feature with him at the cottage.
There's people that talk about, if you could move anywhere in Canada, where would you move? Going to Halifax once and traveling around a little bit in Nova Scotia, and then now going to PEI. And I know people say, well, in the winter you can get those storms that roll in. It's like, have you spent a winter here? have you fired up your rig when it's minus 50 like for a week straight, and you go outside and your jacket's breaking? It's so cool. So I'm like, that's a place that I think I could hang my hat. I could let things that seem slower there too.
All we need is for Commissioner Hewitt to call the folks at Cavendish Farms, have them build a stadium in downtown Halifax. We'll get a CFL team, and then the two of us, Barney, since Commissioner Hewitt will be running the league, the two of us can run the show there in Halifax, and we'll have ourselves a ball.
As long as the Commissioner Hewitt gets the ketchup as well.
Ooh.
To go along with the Cavendish fries.
I'm a big gravy.
That'll be fine.
I'm a gravy connoisseur. Okay, let's get. I watched it. Colson and I were talking about it. I didn't hit the over. I don't know why I bet the over in Game 7. I knew it was going to be under, but I did put half a farm on OKC winning. It's unfortunate about what happened with Halliburton.
Yeah.
Like, that was sad. That even though I had to bet on, that was sad. But this is historic.
Let me just stop you right there. We'll get into OKC in a minute. And I think this is a great radio conversation, especially with the text line open. If you are a high-performance athlete, if you're any kind of athlete, and the doc comes to you and says, all right, here's the deal. It's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. There's a more probable chance than not that you tear your Achilles. Mm-hmm. You'll be out for a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a slim chance you won't. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Play. All day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You never know when you're going to get back. This is your shot. This is your opportunity. You're wired a certain way. It's horrible what happened, but I'm not shocked at all that he played.
Okay, let me just educate me for a second, Arash. Was this Achilles tear? Did they think it was associated with his thigh injury?
It was a calf injury, Don.
So calves. Oh, okay, so it was. Oh, it was a calf. You're right. Okay, so it was associated.
If you think back now 6 years ago, which is crazy, when the Raptors won it all, Game 5 of that series, Toronto led 3-1, and finally, for the first time in that series, Kevin Durant returned for Golden State. And he was on fire to start the game. Stop if you've heard this before,
right.
thinking about Sunday. And then he took one bad turn and crumpled to the floor and grabbed at the back of the leg. It was the exact same thing. Look, these things just take rest, they take rehab, they take a ton of rehab, and they take time to heal. Not 3 days, which is all Halliburton had between games. That's the problem with these things.
Interesting point. And if you remember, Barney, too, the Raptor fans were cheering, or some were cheering when he went down with the torn Achilles. And that was controversial, I guess, in itself, was it not, Arash?
Oh, yeah.
Always be an asterisk there for
really
some people.
Bad. Yeah. I still can picture, I was fortunate enough to cover that series and be in the arena. I can still see Jeremy Lin from the Raptors bench kind of waving his hands up and down, telling the Raptors crowd to quiet down.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pretty historic, though, right? To have that Canadian. I think there's still people probably listening to the show that don't really get it, but the MVP, the finals MVP, the scoring title, that hasn't been done all that often, and this time it was done by a guy from Hamilton.
And so, like, you think about that status: NBA champ, finals MVP, regular season MVP, scoring champion. There are 4 players in the history of basketball who have done it. When he was Lou Alcindor, Kareem did it when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Shaq did it. And this guy named Michael Jordan did it 4 times. And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander enters that pantheon, that conversation, in a tiny little market in Oklahoma City. Like, you talk about the rise of a player, and from where he began his basketball journey, cut in high school, all that kind of stuff, to now not just the pinnacle of the basketball world, but the pinnacle of basketball history with some of the greats to ever do it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it seems like he's not forgetting where he's from either, Arash, because he was wearing a Canadian flag at the parade today.
It's pretty cool. He wrapped it around his waist with the trophy, waving the flag around, waving the trophy around. You know, I think it was Javon Shepard, a former member of the national team. TSN went down to either Oklahoma or Indiana and did a sit down with Shai, but they also put together a video of people from Hamilton, of people from his high school, of people who have been part of his journey. And Shai just sat there and watched the entire video. Like, league officials are trying to get him away from it, you know? And Shai's watching the whole thing. And he said, part of why I do this is for them. He said, I want people back in my hometown to see that this is possible. And he means it. He absolutely means it. Like, I spent a lot of time with Gilgeous-Alexander when we were at the World Cup in 2023 over in Asia. I was around the national team last year in Paris. And Shai wants the mindset of Canadian to be, why not us? We belong. This is us. Look, he is the greatest Canadian to ever win an NBA championship. And honestly, Don, Barney, I just get the sense that OKC is only getting started.
Yeah, it can. Is there possibility? This is so hard because it's a big league. It's like the NHL. It's a grind to get back. You do have the injuries. This and that free agency. Sometimes an NBA throws you for a loop as well. Could we be, though, maybe on a little bit of a dynasty watch?
I think so. And look, I agree with you. 1 year ago, I would have told you that the Boston Celtics are going to win 3 of the next 4. You know, and then next thing you know, Jason Tatum tears his Achilles, Drew Holiday gets traded, the Celtics don't know where they're going. But Colson, I don't know if you've got the board there. For those who are watching on the stream, the trade that Oklahoma made to unload Paul George, and they bring in Shai, and it's one pick after another, after another, after another. Jalen Williams, probably the Thunder's second best player, is courtesy of a first-round pick from the Clippers 3 years ago. In addition to that, later this week, they have Miami's first round pick. They have the Clippers' first round pick next year, too. Like, they're just on the cusp of things, and everybody's under team control for at least the next 2 years. And so you just kind of look at this, and, like, honestly, I know we're talking about Shai a lot, obviously. Lou Dort from Montreal, probably the best defender in the NBA, best defender in the finals. A grit guy who
Thick.
can, muck it up and get some rebounds.
Thick.
He's a stud, too.
He'd be a good power forward on the third line, banging and crashing. Guys are bouncing off him. Like, he's a thick, solid dude.
Yeah.
And
Jeremy O'Day should put him on the neg list because he'd be a great Canadian linebacker.
Little tight end.
The wood, he'd thump.
Little tight end shield. Just throw up a nice shield pattern. The guys bounce off him. And then where's Chet Holmgren from? Is he from Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay. I kept calling him Slim. My boy's like, you're not going to hit the over. He keeps missing free throws. And I'm like, I'm aware. But he is one of those guys. He's like 7 foot, just over 7 feet. His legs are so skinny. Like, I don't know how many miles that guy has on him.
Yeah.
Because that's a big, lanky, awkward body to be going up and down the floor.
But he's a young guy. In his rookie season, he had a season-ending injury. This is the thing with Oklahoma City. Like, Shai's 26, and he's the air quote vet on this team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, my boy was like, look at his legs. Look how skinny his legs are. I'm like, he has 0 Ukrainian genetics in him, son. He doesn't have our calves. No. He doesn't have our thighs or our back end. That is for sure. Okay, let's go to Luke Willson. And I don't even know where to start on this.
Did he come on the show today, by the way?
He did not. He hasn't replied to text messages. Our text messages, anyway. Let's go. You've played this role before, where people have lambasted Arash.
Thank you, Luke Willson. Suddenly, I'm not enemy number one. How about that? Oh, wow.
You're the guy coming. You're the Homer Simpson meme coming out of the shrubs.
Yeah. I am Switzerland. I am United Nations. I am here to bring peace.
It makes some good point. Let's start first off. The junk football thing, I wouldn't go that far. It's entertaining. Maybe this weekend was a bit of a dud across the board. And I know he did the Friday night game. There's a lot of entertainment when it comes to CFL football. I wouldn't call it junk football. Can we start there?
Okay, sure. Why don't we even just take one step back? I went on Sunday night to watch the NBA Finals Game 7 with some friends. Okay? I'm a basketball fan. I'm an NBA fan. It was great to see Shai and those guys win. That was not a good basketball game. The moment Halliburton went down, it had a great start. Halliburton went down. It was scattered the rest of the first half. It was sloppy. The third quarter turned into a runaway. It was not entertaining. It was not good basketball. It's okay to say that. It's okay to be like, I like this league. I think that these players are top notch. I believe that this is an entertaining product. But there are times where it can be downright dreadful. There are times when you have 300 yards and penalties. It is just like, oh my God, another flag. There are times when, and as great as Alford's return was, and it was, you roll your eyes and say, really, Mickey Donovan? You didn't have enough dudes on the field to cover this? Like, it's okay to say these things, and for reasons I have yet to understand, there is such a sensitivity among the fan base and some of the stakeholders with this league. And I don't know if it's an inferiority complex. I don't know what it is, but it's nuts. And sometimes when someone just speaks the truth, they're viewed as a villain, or they're viewed as negative, or they're viewed as a quote unquote hater. And I've never understood it.
We talked about or what. I think this is the role now. He's got his lane. You double down. You double down on it. You go, and TSN should be all over it. And maybe, like Don said, it might help with viewership. I don't know, ratings, yada yada. Cutting the cord is such a thing now. But if clicks wise, social media wise, I think he just rolls with this now a little bit.
Tell me one, like Luke Willson has done more to market the CFL in the last 2-3 weeks than anything the league has. Like when Luke Willson has lit a fire under people, Luke Willson has got people talking. Luke Willson has gotten everyone to have an opinion. Luke Willson has gotten people to have a voice. Luke Willson is the reason, in part, why your text line has been lit up tonight,
Yeah.
Barney, right?
That's a point. Yeah.
He's like, this is the world now. The world is now, like, it's turned into WWE, it feels like. Like, the next thing we know is if Pat McAfee even followed the CFL a little, Luke Willson would be on his show.
Yeah.
This is the way you get attention now. This is the way.
That's
and
right.
it's just sports.
Yeah, and I think he's of the right demographic. I mean, the CFL wants younger fans. That's what they're lacking. They got too many fans, like guys like me, unfortunately, and my birth certificate. But they do need younger people actually coming in and doing whatever they're doing, as long as they're entertaining about the CFL. Because at the end of the day, what is sports? Sports is nothing more than entertainment. I mean, people's livelihoods and salaries may be on the line, but generally for the average person, what's entertainment? Movies, playing Pinocchio, whatever that is. What is not Pinocchio?
It's what's that game?
My nose is growing.
No.
Minecraft was all the rage these days.
Right.
But this
And
is the
sports,
thing.
but it's just entertainment is the point I'm making. And if we take sports too seriously, it's going to maybe lose some luster.
Agreed, Don. And I think the bigger thing is where the CFL is really, and this is a weird thing to say talking to a Saskatchewan audience, but I think in a lot of markets in the league, which is reflective of the attendance you've seen, excuse me, league-wide outside of Montreal, the CFL is no longer water cooler conversation. You're not walking down the streets of Edmonton and people talking about the Elks. You're not going to a sports bar in Calgary and people are talking about the Stamps. I was chatting with some people in Ottawa today who want to get into the content business. And I'm like, where are the Red Blacks in the conversation? Because, 7-8 years ago, they win the Grey Cup. Football's revived in the capital. Diehard sports fans in Ottawa might be able to name 3 or 4 players on the Red Blacks. Luke Willson is getting people engaged. Luke Willson is getting that fire going with people. Luke Wilson's getting people to say, hold on, how dare you say this? Again, he's done more in the last few weeks than many of the initiatives that I can remember that have come out of anything to do with the CFL in a long time.
I thought you were talking,
notwithstanding.
I thought you were talking about Crokinole. Isn't that
Crokinole? That's right.
But then somebody texted in
Crokinole.
Pinochle. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Pinochle. There's some game
Pinochle.
that starts with P. Yeah, because I was a kid before televisions and whatnot, so we just played Crokinole. Got sore middle fingers.
Isn't this more entertaining, talking about Luke and all the back and forth, than if we're here saying, should the Red Blacks start Dustin Crum or Matthew Schultz this week because Drew Brown's hurt? Like, are we really going to talk about getting, I don't know, Taylor Cornelius off the couch? Like think about it. These are the things that
when does somebody come out though and say, okay, it's the old adage. I think my wife throws this at me quite a bit off. If you're going to complain, how are you going to make it better? What are your ideas to make it better then, Luke? And then somebody just sent in his stats and was going off Luke's stats, saying, how can this guy criticize? And okay. But,
Luke's
with that...
Luke's been to 2 Super Bowls and he's got a ring. So,
I don't.
He's one idiotic Russell decision to throw the ball by Russell Wilson,
Yes.
Malcolm Butler, away from having two of them. So
Yeah,
I'd
that's
settle
true.
down on somebody bringing up Luke Wilson stats.
Pete
Bring up
Carroll.
the bio first.
But I personally, this is my take, is getting younger fans to the game, growing the league. This won't do anything for that. Yeah, this is giving the league some publicity. I think there's got to be a real deep dive. There's got to be... When's the last time some of these people have actually gone to a school like my wife's at and talked to the kids? What do you guys like? Why do you like that? You know, what would make you want to watch that? Do we know? I think we're throwing things at the wall.
Wasn't it the Flag Football League that run by the NFL in Regina?
Not run by the NFL, just kind of...
Not run by the NFL,
yeah.
by local people, but it's sponsored by the NFL. I
NFL
should
Flag
say.
Canada, yeah.
So Regina beats Miami for the best run NFL-sponsored
Oh, yeah.
Flag Football League. Did you hear about that, Arash? Regina has the best NFL-sponsored Flag Football League in North America.
I coach 2 teams. A lot of refs hate me. But
It was a surprise to nobody.
Adult
Surprise to
one.
nobody, the refs hate you.
But
By the way, shout out, speaking of flag, shout out to Team Canada over the weekend in LA. Went 2-0, beat USA, beat Japan. So,
yeah.
I don't get how the NFL's going to have players in this LA Olympics because it's during football season, or is it just before training camps?
It's more the CFL guys that'll be tough.
So the NFL's going to have players in it and the CFL won't?
When you go home tonight, watch on YouTube USA versus Italy World Flag Football Championships from last year or the year before, and then you'll see how different of a game it is, and then you'll go, I don't know if wide receivers, I think, are going to be... We went through this before. Wide receivers are going to be able to play. Some defensive backs. Don't bet on seeing quarterbacks. It's a totally different game. Mason Nias.
Mahomes has already said, I'm not going to do it. He said, I'll give it up to the younger guys to do.
Brittany saying, no, you're not. But... the thing about flag and CFL. So this is probably 10 years ago now. CFL used to have the brand on the Regina Flag Football Fall League. It was CFL, and then you would get put on the Eskimos back then, the Tiger Cats, the Argos, and if you were on the Riders and you were in Regina, great, you were lucky. And then they had the East Tiger Cats, the East, or from different parts of the city. The CFL pulled that. How asinine is that? You have kids wearing the jerseys and the brand, and maybe it's not going to, there's not going to be a massive influx of kids all of a sudden following this, but it is something so simple to get the brand on the kids doing something they love, activity, and you pull that? Now, Stu Johnson, when I kind of brought that up,
Stewie.
Disco Stu, he thought that was crazy too. He was like, wow. And I said, he said, that's where I think he said we have to have a conversation. And I said, well, you got to have a conversation with Mike Thomas and the people that run it, because I can't figure it out either.
I will tell you this. An educated hypothesis is that we will see the CFL involved in some more flag initiatives sooner than later.
That's what the commissioner said. That's right. That's one of the things he wanted to do. And Barney, do I have permission? Can I ask Arash one Raptors question?
Yeah, let's wrap it on that. He's been sitting on this one, Arash.
Well, I just that, of course...
I think he's getting a parking ticket because he was not supposed to be here this long. He's been waiting to ask you this.
That's right. Right at the Billia. But, of course, the NBA draft tomorrow night, Raptors pick 9th. We saw a Spicy P, the self-proclaimed Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, almost win an NBA championship, not quite. They didn't want to pay him the money, but another reason was because he wasn't in the sort of general age group as Scotty Barnes, and they're building this team, the Raptors, around Scotty Barnes, and the pieces around him are on the same age. The thing that I'm wondering right now, Arash, Scotty Barnes, I don't think in any way, shape, or form is an NBA superstar based on the fact he doesn't score enough to be a superstar. So I wanted to ask you, going into the NBA draft here, are the Raptors building this entire organization around the wrong guy?
It's a great question. And the answer to your question is a question, Don. Will the Raptors be building just around Barnes next season? Because Masai Ujiri is on an expiring deal, the president of the team. Helped bring a championship to the city in 2019. They've done effectively nothing since.
That's right.
So he's got to do something. He's got to make a splash because, again, this franchise continues to miss the playoffs. They've only won one playoff round in the bubble. That's how long ago it was since the title. So I can't imagine Scotty Barnes is going to be their one. I can't imagine he's going to be their quote-unquote superstar, the guy to build around, because Masai's job is on the line. He's got to go do something this offseason to not only bring some help, but surely to improve the roster and surely to get an upgrade to their one. Because if Scotty Barnes is your solution when you have an expiring deal, like, get the U-Haul trucks now. Well, this guy makes so much money that they could go splurge on a moving company. I just can't see it.
Okay, we'll catch up on Thursday again. Before this, we'll keep it going. We went long today. Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.